We're doing this. MPs urge under 16s UK smartphone ban and statutory ban in schools. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I'm unironically getting red pilled, not giving young people any kind of internet access. Like the internet is getting worse and worse and worse. And I don't mean in terms of like you can see people being beheaded online or whatever, because that shit was around when I was a kid. I mean just in terms of the like constant, it's just like all ad slop and weird political grifters and niche subcultures that want to make money off you. It feels like there's less and less authentic shit, or at least you need to be old enough to kind of like understand how to navigate it all properly. It feels like the internet is getting much more malicious and predatory. This is a band-aid solution then? Yeah, I don't know if it would actually be fixed by not letting your kid use a phone or the internet until 16, but yeah. I don't know. I wish there was some kind of like kid-only internet. Like, because there's like YouTube Kids or whatever. I don't mean that bullshit. I mean like a walled off bit of the internet where it's just you can only use a couple of things and not like the whole thing. I don't know. I haven't really thought this through. Just because there's some stuff in the internet that's really, really important, like Wikipedia. Like you can learn a lot of XQC's chat. True. Kid-only internet. Aiden Ross at kick.com/Aiden Ross. Yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't really thought this through. I don't know. Parental controls, but parental controls don't work. Like, first of all, most parents don't know how to use them, and second of all, most kids can get around them, and third of all, they can't really account for all the changes. It's not that effective. I don't think. Easy enough to bypass. Indiana has passed a law to ban phones in school. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I kind of think that's a good thing. From the horror stories that I've heard from teachers, I genuinely kind of feel like I'm kind of agreeing with the whole phone should be banned in school thing. If there's an emergency or whatever, you can call the school office and the office can send somebody down to the like you can survive life in school without a phone, right? Like I don't actually think that's necessary day to day to exist. It absolutely destroyed our school. It just is anyone getting an education anymore? Like, I'm not a huge believer in the sanctity of American education because it's shit, but it does. I'm hearing so many stories of like everyone just chat GPTing their way through every essay and nobody paying attention. It's like, I don't know, man. Jeez. Dumb phones only, maybe, like give them a Motorola Razr. See, yeah, that kind of thing sounds cool to me, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I go to community college, been okay for me. Yeah, but you're an adult now. My roommate is getting his master's degree and just chat GPTs every essay, Vaush. I hate it. Low trust society. Nobody believes in anything anymore. What age range are we talking about the ban? I'm not talking about a ban. I'm just talking about like raising your kids, But if you're banning it in school, like what are you really losing out on by not having smartphones in high school? I didn't have a smartphone in middle school. I mean, if I'm like distracted in class, I just like, I don't know, drew in the margins of my notebook. Majority report went over a study out of Sweden that showed massive improvements doing it. Hold on. Sweden school study ban phones. Hopefully that brings it up. The impact of banning mobile phones in Swedish secondary schools. Okay, this seems relevant. The influential and only quantitative evaluation by Bell and Murphy, low cost but effective policy to improve student performance. Using similar empirical setup but with data from Sweden, we partly replicate the study. We increase the survey response rate of schools to approximately 75%. In Sweden, we find no impact of mobile phone bans on student performance. Oh, okay. Well, this one says there's no impact. So this clearly isn't the one the majority report went over. Holy shit, Vaush. This is straight up millennial/Gen X circle jerking. Damn, Madeline. All right. Well, I'm glad that you took the time to look away from the Family Guy clips and the subway runner videos to type in my chat for a second. This isn't millennial circle. You realize millennials in a lot of cases had smartphones in school, right? You're not that much younger than us, first of all. Second of all, what is this circle jerking? You seriously don't think there are any kind of widespread social consequences to everyone having the internet on them all the time, especially young neuroplastic dipshit 14-year-olds? I don't know, man. When I was like in middle school, we had flip phones and that was a bit distracting, but for the most part, distractions were like drawing in class. But now it's just smartphone. If I was a teacher, man, I would like write people up for having their phones out in class. Pay attention to me. Holy shit. Get over. We're like normalizing ADHD brain rot. You guys know that, right? Like no one has any attention spans anymore. And I say that as someone with no attention span. I'm not like making a moral judgment of this. I'm just saying factually that it is the case. Nobody can focus on anything. Half of you would kill yourself if you had to do chores for 5 minutes without Bluetooth earbuds or a podcast to listen to or music. Just doing it like silently or whatever, it would be over for you. You would be like sprinting for the road to flatten yourself under a car's tires. I know you. On God? Yes, on God. You would be meeting God, and he would condemn you to hell. You would go up there to the pearly gates, and St. Peter would say, sorry, we don't accept ADHD-riddled Zoomer dipshits. Go to hell. At least you'll be presented plenty of novelty down there. Be fair, people had radios. People did not use radios for that, man. Radios were something you sat down and listened to. People weren't carrying their radios like room to room, doing everything in their life all the time to them, listening to them in like the shower and everything. It's totally incomparable. Bringing the radio to school so you can listen to the ball game like while you're not listening to the lecture. Walkmans? You ever held a Walkman? Do you have any idea what they were like? I did. I held one. I had one. Yes? Then you should know that they're not comparable to modern smartphones. You're just saying shit, man. Nobody brought Walkmans in and pulled the headphones on to listen to music in class to ignore the teacher. Or if they did, the teacher's kind of slacking on the punishments. You're just saying shit. You're just saying shit. That's how my mom used her radio. She would blare music throughout the house. She did chores. You're waffling, dude. We're talking about school. And there is nothing in terms of like ADHD, attention deficit disorder, brain destroying, neuroplastic manipulating, like nothing compares to the modern smartphone. If you think otherwise, you're genuinely delusional. You brought up chores though. I'm talking about a general pattern of needing constant stimulation to do everything. I genuinely think that apart from the language differences, if you pulled somebody from the 16th century today, one of the biggest differences between us and them is they would be able to sit still. I mean it. I genuinely mean that. I think that if you got like some kid from like 1652 France and like he spoke English or whatever, and you were like, okay, now I'm going to go do something. Can you sit still in this room and relax for like 30 minutes? They could do that and it would be fine because their brain is used to that because they had much, much less stimulation back then. Nowadays, sit still for 30 minutes. It's suicide pact time, baby. I'm checking out. 30 minutes. We are about to employ a very permanent solution to a 30-minute problem. But that kid, I think he could have done it. Wow, we're so much better then because life is stimulation. I'm not making a moral argument. I am saying that people have shorter attention spans. This is demonstrably the case. Can you quit being defensive and assuming that anytime this factual statement is uttered, that it's like a boomer sitting in an armchair complaining about how everything is worse these days? This is just a fact, man. There's more microplastics in your balls than there were in people 100 years ago. That's also a fact. It's not a kids these days thing. I'm kids. I grew up with a smartphone, kind of, high school and onward. My brain is I can't do chore. How can you think I'm doing the boomer moralizing argument when I'm literally joking about how I'm right there with you? I take Adderall. What do you like? You think I'm here being like you're like kids these days can't do shit. When I was a kid, I walked uphill both ways to go to school. I'm right there with you. Why are you pretending this is like a kids these days argument? These folks are just being contrarian. It's like the weed argument. You talk about reliance on marijuana destroying people's brains, and people are like, you're literally like Nixonite. You're like a drug war advocating boomer. And it's like, you're so defensive. Why are you so defensive? It's because they're used to arguing with their parents. You just ruined the subreddit for another week? Yeah. Hey, come on, leave weed out of this. It's because these f***s are so used to arguing with their parents, you know? They think I'm doing the thing again. Vaush, China will force children in elementary classrooms to sit still for hours, and if they move, they'll get punished harshly, and it's horrible. Yeah, I think that's child abuse. I think that's terrible. You know? Children should be allowed to... So one of the biggest problems with school environments for young people is that it encourages, like... It encourages rigidity where there should be none, and it allows for absent-mindedness where there shouldn't be any. You know? Like, kids want to zoom around and stuff. They want to do that, you know? Kids shouldn't be, like, sitting still on a desk or whatever. There should be, like, I don't know, beanbag chairs or whatever for them to relax while they talk. I don't know, something. Like, they're kids. They want to move around. They got the zoomies. They're like cats. Give them weed, exactly. What do you think of gender-segregated schooling? Terrible idea. Horrible idea. Teacher from EU here. I don't know how it works in the US, but we're taught to make the lessons interactive enough so the kiddos don't even have the time to pull up the phone, which is quite good. American education's pretty bad, but like, I don't know. I don't know much about like, it varies a lot state by state, teacher by teacher. We don't have very strict, the only like strict national requirements we have is a loose curriculum and the like Common Core shit or whatever. We like there's a lot of bad policy layered on top of it, but we don't have like very strong teaching doctrine approaches that teachers get like normalized and taught into. Vaush, peasant boy from the 16th century could stay still. Also, Vaush, children shouldn't stay still. That's child abuse. Foxwell, you're getting one chance. Say psych. Like that was a pretty dumbass argument where you're tenuously trying to connect two things that have no relationship. Say psych. It's your only hope. You're really, really reaching there, man. I'm waiting. I don't see a psych. Oh man, I don't see a psych at all. I think they were being real. Oof. Well, you know what that means, folks. I'll hop to my alt. See ya. Are you so much of a problem chatter that you already have a prepared alt on the proprietary website of a single streamer? What are you up to, man? Like, IP ban him? There we go. Really, that was kind of harsh. No, it's not. If a person says something stupid and you're like, hey, do you want to get banned? And their response is, all right, jumping to my alt, then they should be permanently banned from every, like, they should never come back, ever. We're talking about, like, the worst humans alive. You need to understand that. Anyone with that reflexive response should be locked up in real life. Terrible vibes, wretched vibes. You know that motherfucker was on their smartphone watching Family Guy clips rather than listening to, like, their 9th grade history teacher. Could you explain a little more? Their argument makes sense to me. Mr. Goodsock, say psych right now. Oh no, I'm sorry. Their argument was incoherent. I think forcing children to sit still, like, and punishing them if they move is child abuse. What does that have to do with a hypothetical where I say that a 16th century kid would be capable of sitting still? There's no relation between these factors. It's a desperate, flaccid effort to be contrarian with no, like, meat to it, you know? You see a lot of that in chat. Anytime you talk about anything that involves, like, a critique of social policy or, like, social standards, people who have never thought about it before get mindlessly defensive, and they start employing, like, defensive strategies that don't have much to do with what you said. It's DGG brain. No, it's not DGG brain, actually. It's a general, like, human tendency. People get really defensive. This is one of the reasons why a bunch of people will get really defensive about spanking. Because their parents spanked them, and they don't want to believe their parents abused them. You know? Because spanking is just flatly the wrong thing to do. It is abuse to a child. It's also, let's be fair here, really common abuse. I think I got spanked like twice when I was a kid, so it wasn't exactly a habit. But I think those 2 times were bad. There's just no reason to do it, you know? I'm not going to defend it. Intellectually, it's like, okay, well, you know, my parents aren't perfect people, whatever. That's life. But you shouldn't defend it. But a lot of people will be like, you know, oh, my parents whooped my ass, so it couldn't have been bad because I turned out all right. And then they'll run to the races for it. They'll start defending it really aggressively. They'll get really defensive. So children should be able to sit still, but it shouldn't be expected of them. Mr. Goodsocks, I think that children should be able to sit still and, like, not have a super short attention span, but I don't think they should be locked in a building for 8 hours a day where they're regimentedly expected to be completely still regardless of, like, their feelings on the matter or whatever. We're also talking about kids of different ages. I would never ask a 6-year-old to sit still for, like, an hour. That'd be crazy. But schools ask them to do that, you know? But nowadays, you motherfuckers are 19 and you can't sit still. I'm 30 and I can't sit still. This isn't just a kid thing, man. I didn't grow out of being attention deficit. I kept being attention deficit, you know? And it is good to have a long attention span, right? It's just generally beneficial. It's good. Ooh, Thana, how'd you know? Thana, did you just check the IP of Foxwell's account and go, like, found the other one and nuked it? Ooh. Mods are on the back end, man. White Nervosus, a smart person. Taking shots! No alts getting away with this shit. Get out of here. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. I'm looking at this alt's logs, and they're psycho. Show the logs. You know, we're talking about, like, phones in school. That's what this... Is this a segment? And that's what this is about. How do we get here? Who knows. All right, so unironically, I plan on doing the dumb phone plan myself for myself because I recognize the stress and danger that omnipresent internet access can do. But the other issue is it's not a good idea to outright ban smartphones at a legal level. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a really tricky situation to navigate. Aren't there types of phones these days that are meant to be, like, you can only use them for calls or something? Like, right now, there are companies that are marketing phones that are modern in their design, but they only can be used for texting or calling. Burners? No, no, no. They're not meant to be burner phones. They're just meant to be like here. It's called a keypad phone. Yeah. Best dumb phones 2024. Hmm. Limited phones. Weird little design. I could never do this because my job is online and I kind of need to keep up with that. But I can understand people wanting to do this. 20 bucks for a flip phone, man. That's crazy. Okay, can we all agree on at least one thing here? No unsupervised screen time for young kids. If your kid is like 3, 4, 5 years old, just leaving them alone with an iPad turned to YouTube Kids is insane. Genuinely like psycho shit, and you're being a bad parent. I'm calling out anyone watching right now if you think like, oh, I have a good reason for it. No, you know? Genuinely, like it's not good. I feel like everyone I know got groomed as a kid online. This is going to be one of those generational things that I don't think people are going to recognize much in retrospect, but it is true that I know an insane number of people who are groomed or like attempted groomed online, yeah. To varying levels between like the attempter or whatever else. Yeah, it's pretty common. Talk with your kid, man. If you Okay, number one, communication is key. If you've got a kid, you got to make sure they trust you, man. You have to not be weird. Like if you're look, okay, if your kid's got internet access and they're like 16 or whatever, get over yourself. Like, yeah, they're straight up junking it because you were when you were their age. Don't be stupid, but don't be like weird or whatever. Don't like the point. What matters is that like if anything actually bad happens, they can trust you, and that means like mutual trust and so on and so forth, right? Like you need to facilitate a relationship where if something bad happens, they can, because so many kids think like, oh, my parents don't understand or they wouldn't get it or whatever, and they just blah, I hope if I ever have a kid and they end up being some weirdo online degenerate furry weirdo gamer or whatever, I hope that if they ever get into hot water where they like become friends with somebody on some like niche furry cosplay site and that person ends up somehow getting their like docs and credit card info and they're like really terrified about them doing something bad with it, I really hope they trust me enough to go, hey, Ian, I did accidentally da 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 da, and so now this guy from Wisconsin has my credit card details and my docs. What do I do? And I can be like, thank you for trusting me enough to tell me all this. Second of all, how the did you get my credit card information, you little shit? And then I ground them forever. That's the dynamic. You build up all that trust, and then you take it away in one fell swoop. Grounded till you're 18. Stay inside. I only let my toddler daughter watch TV, no iPad. I think that's better, unironically. Like, at least if your like kid is kind of like unattendedly watching TV, you're limited to a pretty strict regimen of the shows that would show on TV. Dude, you have no idea what's going on, even on YouTube Kids. Have you guys seen that? I keep seeing videos of this on Twitter where people are making fun of it, where it's the chicken nugget going that one. The modern Elsa Gate kind of shit, where it's like content slop that's meant to get people billions in ad revenue, and the kids watch it and their brain melts. Skibbity toilet. Well, hold on. Let's not go after peak here, all right? How does Vaush not know Cotton Eye Joe? I literally just said it. What do you want? Doesn't it stunt language development? I mean, I saw a tweet saying that it does. So, why would a guy go on the internet and lie? Yeah, probably. I don't think that Skibbity Toilet is comparable. Skibbity Toilet is like weird and dumb, but it's not content slop the way that the like Cotton Eye Joe chicken nugget thing is. It's not comparable, Skibbity Toilet is just like the SCP Five Nights at Freddy's React video, like YouTube creepypasta whatever of the current generation. It's just like a new weird thing for very young people to get obsessive over and dress up for as like during Halloween, like whatever. You're telling me, like, if I was 10 years old, I wouldn't be like, yo, that's crazy, dude. It's literally like Gmod. I'm just happy to see the Gmod engine get some new life breathed into it, I remember watching as a kid, like, the banana phone Gmod animation skit thing with all the funny faces. The banana phone, that one, yeah. And now it's like, okay, now a modern generation is getting in on it. That's cool. You mean Source Engine? Yeah, Source Engine, yeah. My niece and nephew are being raised without screens. It's insane how well adjusted they are compared to other kids I know with iPads. Pretty much zero behavior and developmental problems. Yeah. The iPad kid thing is like insane brain rot. You can't do that, man. You have to, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Every one of my cousins sits their kids in front of iPads. Ugh. How do I cure myself of iPad brain? Unironically, you need to learn to do stuff with no other stimulation. Go on a 20-minute walk with no phone or music or anything. Like you just take a walk. Do like some chores like laundry, like folding your laundry, little stuff like that, or vacuuming with no other stimulation, you know? I know that sounds like boomer core shit, but genuinely being able to do stuff like that, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, being able to do stuff like that is really important. They call it mindfulness. Yeah, that mindfulness is the number one thing because a lot of people drown out their inner voice and they're not really thinking about what they do. They just like they just do stuff on autopilot and then all of a sudden it's 3 p.m. and they haven't eaten today. Or like it's like, "Oh, wow, it's really late and I didn't realize." They're not thinking about what they're doing. They're not mindful. Excuse me. You know, you have to be mindful even if you're super attention deficit and you're like jumping around and like listening to stuff or whatever listening to podcasts, okay, whatever, it's not the end of the world. You can do all of that, all right, but you need to be conscious of what you're doing, like very purposeful, if that makes sense, right? Be purposeful. You should, whenever you're doing a thing, you should be thinking like, this is the thing that I'm doing, because that gives you a kind of like conscious and introspective understanding of the process and whether you're doing it well and what you should do next and whether you should be doing it at all. You always want to be doing that. And I think that some things in life make it harder to do that and be purposeful, and some things make it easier. If you have an issue with overeating or binge eating, just don't watch anything while eating. Just sit and eat your food. Yeah, fucking me when I hear there will be food but no TV or entertainment during the eating at the function. That's a difficult one. Just sitting there and eating food with no YouTube video. My inner voice makes me want to kill myself. You should probably work on that then, rather than just drowning the inner voice. Have a conversation with someone. I hate talking to people I eat. I've always been that way. If I'm eating, I'm eating. It's one of the reasons I don't eat on stream. I can't stand it. That's why when I'm streaming and I eat really, really fast so I can get over it. I can't stand talking while I eat. Even while I'm out at a restaurant. The anti-Hassan, yeah, I just can't do it. Is speed watching a video also brain rot? Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry, but yeah, if you're and Tempest, I'm sorry, but if you're like, I'm gonna watch twice as much entertainment by double speeding it. Ooh, man. I mean, we all have our idiosyncrasies, right, Tempest? Is it bad to speed watch these boring math lectures? For the 50 trillionth time, when I have an issue with like speed watching, I'm talking about people speed watching entertainment, like podcasts they listen to for fun. If you're just trying to get the info from something, then yeah, that's fine. Also, if you're watching Quentin reviews for entertainment, you can speed that motherfucker, because holy shit, does that guy draw out his pronunciation.